Hello, everyone. So today we have Mr. Sunil Kumar Bose with us. So welcome, Sunil.
Thank you so much, Puneet sir.
So today, Mr. Sunil will share his experience about his PhD dream, and currently he is doing PhD from IIM Kashipur. So Sunil, we want to know about your academic background and how did you decide to go for PhD and what is your career aspirations?
Okay. So to start with, I was a science student in my school times. I did my 10th from ICC board and 12th from CBSE board in physics, chemistry, maths, which was my main stream. Then I pursued to join the management program because I already decided that I want to do an MBA for business management program. So I opted for BBA from Merit University. And luckily, I was a batch topper. So somebody
Wonderful.
told me that if, thank you. So somebody told me that if you want to pursue an MBA, most of the portions will be covered in your BBA part itself. And that was very true. So fortunately, I enrolled, I gave CMAT and other entrance exams, and I got for PGDM also. And I got into SIS college for pursuing my master's in marketing and finance. And fortunately, there also I was in top 10 rankers among the batch. So while pursuing my PhD curriculum, I had a fortunate of intern with Hindustan Coca-Cola for 8 months. I think I was the first student of the university or the college that has been doing an internship for 8 months, because in MBA generally they have a 2 months training time.
Yes.
Because my performance was very well and my manager has asked my college to allow me to work for more. So during this tenure of internship, I was able to interact with people from Nielsen, because generally Coca-Cola used to take database from Nielsen and we were getting research reports. So from there, I had moved toward the inclination of reading through research papers, and I got a lot of insight. The insight which some books cannot tell you in your MBA or rather in BBA program. So I was very much fascinated by them. And there onwards, my research orientation came into focus. And when after pursuing my internship, when I joined back to the academics in my college, the practical things were very easy for me, just because through the research papers, I had some greater knowledge and deep understanding of the theoretical underpinnings. Because now, if anybody knows about research curriculum, there are two important aspects for that. One is the theoretical underpinnings, from which you're trying to bring a theory and try to test it or to make a theory. The other part is the practical implication. So in which you try to get some practical experience over the field, over to bringing back to the industry and to the society. So these were the two things that I learned from that internship part. And from there, fortunately, the MBA curriculum also has the habit of doing case studies, in which we were given research studies to get through the basic content of the case, how it is generated, which are the theory. So all that thing. So from there it began, and after that I worked with big brands. So I worked ICC Bank. I worked with Parle Group, Parle Biscuit Private Limited in Mumbai office. Then I worked with Coffee Group, and I was handling the Mumbai region. So for 5 years post my MBA, I worked in Maharashtra in Bombay region, and then in 2019, my health was not well. I suffered a lot of critical health issues. So my manager from Parle, he told me to go for IBPS exam, so that I can focus well on my sales. I was very good salesperson. I used to do a lot of sales, and my performance was very good throughout whenever I joined any company. Okay. He told me to go to this IBPS exam, and similarly, he told me that you had a good academic orientation too, because he has gone through my curriculum. So I was, as I mentioned, that I was I'm a batch topper in BBA and among top 10 in MBA also. So he simultaneously told me to focus on teaching lines also. Because somewhere while joining Parle, I was a part-time faculty for English in Time Coaching in Time Bombay. So I used to make a academic touch also during my practical work experience. So he told me to appear for UGC NET also. So fortunate for me, I have been able to crack both IBPS and UGC NET in the very first attempt. And that was the first time UGC NET went online after the paper pattern. So I cleared both, but due to some reason, financial reason, let's say, I have to join this bank, Union Bank of India. I joined, and then I started working in the loan department. And being in loan department gave me some ample of time to prepare for the PhD, not for the PhD journey, but to go through the academic part. So PhD was just an accidental journey for me, because I haven't thought that I will do a PhD. Many of my friends already have pursued PhD from IIMs, IITs, and another state and central university, and they told me so. But since I was performing well in my academic, in my non-academic part, that is my work experience, so I thought, ki, theek hai, I will go for academics after I will find a suitable time. Like I was thinking that I should pursue it after some years, after getting at least some more years of experience, so that I can apply it very well. So I thought to appear for CAT after 8 years because I did my MBA in 2014-16, and in 2013 I have gave CAT. So in 2020 I tried to just go for a CAT exam just to check the pattern, because of COVID, patterns have changed, time constraints were there. So I thought, let me check so that for future I can opt for PhD program. And fortunately, I got a good decent percentile. I managed to manage all sectional cutoff. I got 80 percentile and above in all the three sections. And I got a sufficient percentile score to convert calls to at least get a call from IIMs. So the issue was that I had a locational thing in my mind, locational convenience. So I picked very selective IIMs for that matter. So I applied only to 4 IIMs and a few IITs. So to mention the 4 IIMs for IIM Kashipur, that was the first IIM that gave me a call letter for the interview that you have been shortlisted, and we are needing like we are giving you the state for the interview purpose. So this all started in a rush. I have to rush towards my some academic colleagues who I mentioned that already pursue the PhD, and they need a statement of purpose which will be focusing on the research orientation. So that was something new for me, because currently there are two aspects that one college asks for a statement of purpose in two forms. One, if you're joining an MBA degree, or another if you're going for a PhD part. So this part has been very crucial, that writing this statement of purpose, and it was a very novel thing for me. I haven't came across it earlier. So somehow I consulted some of the online platforms. The time was very less, so I got a week or two to prepare for the SOP, and fortunately I was able to put my some academic journey and my practical experience into that statement of purpose, and I got a call from IIM Kashipur as the first attempt. Then I applied for IIM Kashipur, my second call. Then IIM Bodh Gaya, IIM Sambalpur, and SPGen Bombay, because at that time SPGen Bombay, I mentioned it was very late for me to apply for these things. So most of the IIMs have already closed at point of time. So all the top IIMs have closed, and because of the local inconvenience, I applied to very few IIMs. Then SPGen and IMT group, the IMT Ghaziabad and all. So this is how my research journey began.
Okay, wonderful. Wonderful. It seems you have been a very excellent student in your academic life till now, as well as a
average,
good
I can say.
Very high performing salesperson in your corporate life.
Yes. Yes. So here I want to mention that I was at my peak performance. My job was very good in bank because I was in loan department, and I was getting a score of 96 out of 100, and I was able to get a confirmation also from the bank. But before confirming, since I converted IIM Kashipur, I have to resign, because for me academic was the main focus of interest. And to my wonder, everybody was very happy. Rather than me leaving a stable government job, my family, my wife, they all supported me that you converted in IIM. And even all the executive of my bank, they were very happy. I still remember the day when my main office of Union Bank of India from Bombay, the GM called me and congratulated me that you converted in IIM. And he mentioned that there are very less few people who convert IIM while pursuing their job work in a bank. And we all know that currently banks are facing some issue post merger, and a lot of things has happened during COVID. So that was a very good positive vibe for me to move towards a step for the academic journey.
Okay, wonderful. So do you want to share some experience about your interview process? Anything you want to share?
So there are few books which I would like to recommend for the research methodology part, because every IIMs had different interview session, different interview part. Like some conduct 2 interview session, part 1, part 2. So in part 1, they generally go through your basic, let's say, sort of HR round. So that they want to know that whether you have a research acumen or not, whether you have an interest in academics or not, because there are many people who
Right.
convert IITs, but after a point of time, they are so much, they had a lot of experience, but they had not been associated with academics. So it sometimes feel very boring for them, frustrating for them, and they leave the PhD journey. Automatically, now they are deteriorating the seat that could be given to another suitable student who had that trigger to pursue, because this journey is very rigorous journey. But the
Yes.
best part is that PhD is one of PhD, or this academic journey of a professor, is one of the job in which you get an flexibility and individual thought process. There is no such boss in this job. That is one of the best part, that it gives you an ample time, flexibility to have your own thought process, own approach of work, and you can prove your best. So this was the best motivational part for me. And monetary wise, I cannot say, because a lot of people in my batch have came from different backgrounds. Some have been very high government official working at a lucrative package of even more than 2 lakhs. But now because of the stipend, the norms, they're getting a very less amount, but they have chosen, I think they have chosen the right path to go to PhD curriculum and enjoying the life in the most beautiful way for future. So there are few books that I would like to suggest that's for academic part. If somebody wants to go for the common research statistics question that maybe after an interview, they can refer to CR Kothari or any MBA books. You can find it online. And there are a lot of portals also which will help us that these are the best research methodologies books, so that in the interview they will ask you not much, but somewhere they will try to ask you the basic question that somebody have already been studied in their graduation or masters, measures of frontal tendency or something like that, sampling and all, because these are the basic part and one should know
Right.
about this. So
Right.
and apart from that, the difference between an IIT and IIM, that in IIT they want you to focus on the research prospect in the very first attempt itself, from the very first year. So in that prospect, you have to maintain such a SOP that you should show your focus that this is the topic. Suppose my specialization for marketing. So in marketing, I want to do branding. In branding, I want to go for brand love. One of the topic that is my research journey will going to take place in future. So you can have to mention in this way. So you have to very specific in the IIT curriculum if you're going to apply for IIT. Whereas in IIMs, there is a flexibility for the first 2 years, in which the professor also, I have completed 1 year. So professor used to tell us that in the first 2 years, since you have an MBA coursework too, along with your PhD area and core elective courses, so you have to converge your thought process. You have to diverge your thought process, like go across the different topic of marketing, operation, HR, whichever field you're applying for, and try to get the current trending topics on which you can do research. Because see, there are a lot of researchers all over the world which might be working on a similar topic as you're working.
Right.
So try to find some other aspect also, not just restrict to a very specific topic. Being specific is good at the initial stage, but once you go into a journey, once you start reading the academic paper, it sometimes becomes very monotonous, very frustrating that you are reading the same line again and again through papers.
Right.
So you have to go through at least 100-150 paper, which is the current requirement for publication. So think of that arduous journey that you have to go through, and try to keep some other common topics now. So like I have mentioned about brand management, so I can say that if there's an opportunity, I will also look into consumer behavior. Okay, other models of marketing that have weightage, like advertisement is there. Okay, guerrilla marketing there. So I will try to mention that, so that the interviewer also be know that he is not that fixed at the start itself. That is the best part of the IIM curriculum. So they will tell you to go for a divergence approach, that try to diverge your thought process, try to get more ideas, so that if you are stuck in a particular topic, you will have sufficient time to go on into another topic also. So suppose if I'm stuck in brand marketing, if I'm stuck, somebody has written a paper already over that, so I can go into consumer behavior. So at that point of time, there will not be much hustling, and I will not be frustrated just because the other have also published the same work in which I was working. So this is the best part in the IIM curriculum. Because of that, they have kept the coursework for the first 2 years, and it is very smooth journey. Fortunately, I'm able to maintain a 9 CGPA without much effort in the first year itself.
Wonderful.
So if somebody has going for a particular specialization, I'm pretty much sure that they have gone through a particular coursework book also in their curriculum. So for operation, there is a specific book. For marketing, we know Kotler is the Bible for marketing. So you can take a particular book, just keep stick to a particular book. Don't go through too many sources. Otherwise, you will waste your time, and there will not much time available when you're going through this interview process. So better to focus on a particular single book of your specialization. And internet is the best source, freely available source. You can get many topics there. And a research site is there in which you can download research paper, which most of the scholars follow. So if you go to Google Scholar and you find a particular topic suitable for you, you can just download that paper from Sci-Hub. So it's spelled as sci.hub. Sci-Hub. From Sci-Hub, you can download the paper at free of cost. So obviously there are some papers which have certain limitation, because college have to purchase the subscription and all that you will get afterwards when you join any college. So these are the basic things. And to talk about my experience, IIM Kashipur is one of the first PhD call that I had, and it was a grilling interview. It was for 45 minutes, and all the IIMs at that point of time had only one round, which I applied. Some IIMs also have two rounds, like IIM Ahmedabad, Calcutta. They all have two rounds. So first was your basic HR round. The second one was the research proposal round, in which they will discuss your research aptitude, which happened to me in IIM Bodhgaya. So to start with, IIM Kashipur had a 45 minutes interview, and there were two faculties from different departments. So already they know that you are from marketing or operation or any other specialization, but maybe there will be a faculty from different department. So the moment I mentioned that I want to do research in this topic, automatically the faculty who was working in that domain, he popped out, and he kept on bombarding questions on me over this and this. So I cannot say that it was a pressure moment for me, just because it was the first experience of mine. So I somehow fumbled, could not able to recall the name. It happens. I have read the names of the founder who has coined that term. He asked me, who has coined the term that you're proposing? Can you recall that? So I have read that, but because of the pressure, the nervousness, I forgot. So be calm, and be calm. If you don't know, just mention. They have to be very honest, because the PhD is something which goes into details. So if you try to make your answers, or try to like make a cheat, or try to go here and there, they will automatically catch you. It is not an MBA.
Yes.
So be thorough that whether you have read or not, and mention, because currently one of my colleague got converted into IIM Lucknow, and he also mentioned the same topic that I have mentioned. And when the faculty asked them whether you know any faculty in IIM Lucknow has published this paper or not, so same case, he has the name of the faculty in the paper, but he could not recall. So he said ki I'm not able to recall this point of time, and the faculty said that ki, "Okay, we got our answer, so you can close for the interview." And he converted that interview. IIM Lucknow is the only call that he converted. So sometimes when you think that interview doesn't went well, maybe chances could be there that you can convert that call itself. So a lot of scholars have been there who are saying that my IIM Indore interview was bad. Generally, the old IIMs, it was not very good, but they had converted it rather than converting the other part. So this is one of the shocking and the beautiful aspect that I can see. So don't get frustrated. Don't try to spill out everything that you have gone through, because you are yet to start your PhD journey. Just be very specific and to the point. The moment you try to stretch the interview, they will ask more and more. So we have to keep this thing in mind. So whatever they are asking, just keep it to the point, because if you say different theories, and try to show that you have gone through many things, then questions may come across that, and maybe you have not gone that much deep into that particular theory. As I was saying that in IIM Kashipur, I was mentioning about bottom of pyramid. Achha, you know that also. Okay, tell me who founded that. Now I went into a different zone that I haven't read deep into bottom of pyramid, but very foolishly I mentioned, so I have to suffer the negative part also. So this was the part. Exactly, yeah. So the person who are taking an interview, they're very smart. They are one of the brilliant minds, and they are very much approachable also. It is not that they will grill you interview. It doesn't mean that you cannot approach them. You can approach them at any point of time, provided that they have the time to lend you for handling your query. So the second part,
please continue.
I was asking, So
I was asking that in IIM Kashipur currently, what is your batch strength in your PhD program?
So this was the first batch of IIM Kashipur, which 7th batch to mention, but the first batch which had 20 students, 20 scholars from different zones. So out of
So
20, many
it
people,
is
yeah,
your batch is the
batches.
first batch in
No,
PhD.
it is in the seventh. It is the seventh batch of PhD, but the batch strength. It is the first time, let's say, that a batch strength of 20 has been taken into
Okay.
IIM Kashipur, because earlier only 6 people,
Okay.
8 people, 10 people, but this is first time that 20 people have been enrolled for the PhD program this year.
Okay. Including executive and regular both, or how is it?
No, no. In IIM Kashipur, executive MBA was last held in 2018. After that, no executive PhD scholars have been taken. And also in 2019-20, there were no marketing scholars too. So after a gap of 2 years, 2 marketing scholars were selected for PhD program in IIM Kashipur. I was one of them and one of my colleagues. So this thing happened for marketing specialization. And this year they were selected 17 people.
Okay.
So like I'm seeing this thing that many IIMs are selecting more and more number of people, because this research is getting highlighted nowadays.
Right.
And it will help to boost up the academic profile also of the institution. So
Okay.
their intake is getting more.
Right. So once a researcher completes PhD degree, what are the options available? Let's say somebody don't want to go in the academics. So what kind of career opportunities are there for them?
So there are a lot of consultant job also, which if somebody don't want to be an assistant professor in any of the universities. So one is that if you want to go into the field or a corporate job, the position is the consultant role. Because I mentioned that companies like Nielsen, Kantar, Millward Brown, they have this research position. And even if you see FMCG companies, they have their consumer research insight department separately made to hire consultant who had a PhD degree. So I would suggest that if you want to go into a corporate job, so try to go in LinkedIn is one of the best source in which you will get to know which are the skill set you need to pursue that role, and PhD is a mandatory requirement for that purpose. So one is that role. Another is postdoctoral fellowship that many students opt for after pursuing their PhD. IIM Bangalore is supposed to be one of the best institute in India currently for the postdoctoral fellowship, and many also try to go into foreign colleges and all for pursuing the postdoctoral. So these are some things, and also somebody could start up their own research institution in which they can also try to guide as a faculty that you can pursue the research curriculum. So this could be one another option, sort of an entrepreneurship journey you can say, or in a startup in which the PhD curriculum is being enriched to the world.
Okay, thank you so much for sharing your experience and knowledge with us. Anything more you want to share to the viewers?
So I was mentioning about IIM Kashipur, and some IIMs had a very chilling interview. Okay, they only take your interview for 10 minutes or so, and you think that what has been done, like maybe I was not that good in the interview, but it happens because my IIM Kashipur interview was only for 10 or 15 minutes. I thought ki maybe they are not interested in me, and maybe they have found a better match, but I converted those in the very first attempt. Another was IIM Bodhgaya, which I was mentioning, which had 2 rounds, and both of the rounds was very grilling for me more than IIM Kozhikode. They had 1 hour session each with me as an individual interview part, and they grilled me through and out. The research proposition that you have taken, I think it is of no use. इसमें कुछ काम ही नहीं हो सकता, ठीक है. I was but fortunately, to my surprise, I was the first one who got converted. I had no hopes at all from IIM Bodhgaya, but I was the only one who converted at the first attempt. So it was very shock for me. So the patience and perseverance are the two P's that I learned apart from the other P's in marketing that one has to keep in this research curriculum. And there are a lot of opportunities. I have been working in private job and government job and work with very big brands, and leaving a stable job of I was getting a salary more than around, let's say, 1 lakh rupees something. So I have left that job, a metro city, and shifted to IIM Kashipur. So some people might say, "Kiki, why you left that good job, a better place, and shifted to Kashipur, which is sort of a rural area, let's say, or semi-urban area." So leaving a metro like Pune and shifting to Kashipur, things will happen to you. Not everything is cozy, and once you complete this journey of PhD, it will be a very different experience, and then you will cherish the entire moment. You will get ample time for your individual. As I already mentioned, that PhD curriculum is one of the journey which give you a flexibility have your own thought process. There is no boss. You don't have to report anyone. You have to work at their best in your own. There will be no one to question your. So it is the only you who will drive the journey of life. And once you are settled as a professor, as a consultant, or any other dimension of after completing a PhD, I can guarantee that you have a very peaceful job. So be positive in that approach, because it is a arduous journey. It is not like an MBA, that like MBA is like suppose for 18 months. You don't even get to know when it is started and when it finished. But PhD, it is a time-taking journey. It can be frustrating at moments, but at the end, the fruitfulness is very large and very worth to enjoy, to cherish. So that's
Okay,
all from
well
my
said.
end.
Yeah, well said. Well said. Thank you so much, Sunil. Thank you so much for
Sure.
sharing your
Thank you.
insight and experience with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. All the best to this. Yeah.
Thank you.